In the ancient city of Savatthi, during the time of Gautama Buddha, there lived a young man named Sona. Sona was a zealous follower of the Buddha's teachings, and he had dedicated his life to the path of enlightenment. He practiced meditation diligently, but despite his efforts, he felt disheartened by the slow progress he was making on his spiritual journey. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sona decided to visit the Buddha at the Jetavana monastery. He approached the Enlightened One with a heavy heart and shared his frustrations. "Venerable Sir," Sona began, "I have been practicing meditation tirelessly, but my mind remains restless, and I cannot attain the peace and insight I seek. It feels like I am making no progress on this path." The Buddha, known for his deep wisdom and compassion, listened attentively to Sona's lament. He then took Sona to a nearby musical instrument, a stringed lute, and asked him, "Sona, do you know how to play this lute?" Sona nodded and replied, "Yes, Venerable Sir." The Buddha continued, "What would happen if the strings of this lute were too tight?" Sona thought for a moment and replied, "If the strings are too tight, Venerable Sir, they will snap, and no sound will come forth." The Buddha then asked, "And what would happen if the strings were too loose?" Sona replied, "If the strings are too loose, Venerable Sir, they will not produce any music, and again no sound will come forth." The Buddha smiled and said, "Indeed, Sona, the practice of meditation is much like tuning the strings of a lute. Just as the strings need to be neither too tight nor too loose to produce harmonious music, so too should your meditation practice be balanced. Do not strive too hard or too forcefully, for it will lead to exhaustion and frustration. And do not let your mind become too lax, for it will result in distraction. Instead, find the middle path, the balance between effort and ease." Sona listened intently to the Buddha's words, and a profound realization began to dawn on him. He understood that the power of silence and stillness was not in striving relentlessly, but in finding the equilibrium within himself. He thanked the Buddha and returned to his meditation with a newfound sense of tranquility. In the weeks that followed, Sona practiced meditation with a balanced heart and mind. Gradually, the restlessness he had experienced began to dissolve, and he entered deeper states of inner peace and insight. One day, as he sat in meditation beneath a Bodhi tree, Sona attained the profound realization of enlightenment, becoming an arhat, one who had reached the ultimate goal of Buddhism. Sona's story teaches us the profound lesson that the power of silence lies in finding balance, in harmonizing effort with ease, and in cultivating inner stillness. In the tranquil space between striving and surrender, we discover the path to inner peace and awakening, just as Sona did under the guidance of the Buddha.